All right. Good morning, guys, and welcome to the first market check of the week. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a phenomenal weekend. It was one of those weekends for me where I kind of felt like, something ominous was potentially on the horizon. So, instead of going outside, I stayed glued to the charts, and I would say, fortunately, it paid off. This morning when we got a huge gap down on Bitcoin, and I want to talk about the implications of that later on the show, whether or not we're front running equities. But first, some introductions, right? I'm Tommy, also known as Snorlax for the regulars. I'm joined by Max, Will's Outlook, and Tucker. I apologize if I'm a little slow today. I am running off of very little sleep in chasing some of these market excesses. But yeah, no, guys. I mean, I feel like that dump on Bitcoin set the stage for a very interesting week for markets. And I feel like, I say that kind of at the preface of every week, but this one especially, right? Because we do have FOMC on Wednesday. We have Bitcoin and crypto making an aggressive move down towards 29K right on a Monday. Is this the type of move that sees continuation lower later this week? Or is this, just maybe Monday shenanigans? If we see lower start breaking down from here, probably, can start thinking about 27s, 28K. And then I guess we can kind of see what happens from there. But so far, the market has not quite completely rolled over, right? We are, I would say holding the last line of defense here before a much larger puke on Bitcoin. But I think there is kind of the more interesting implication, right? Which is, is this potentially front running the stock market? Because, last week we were talking about the euro dollar and how it was showing tremendous weakness. It's very indicative of, risk within the market, or at the very least, kind of gauging the sentiment on risk. And, the euro kind of front ran this move that we're seeing on Bitcoin this morning. So we are, maybe seeing a little bit of those correlations to some Forex pairs start to creep back in. I definitely want we need to talk about the dollar today, guys. I know Tucker has something for us on that. Especially if we're talking about potential reversals in equities. And I almost hesitate to ever do that, just because of how strong indexes have been this year. But we have mentioned, last week, the significance of the July OPEX on Friday, right? Where you had, I think it was the largest July OPEX in terms of notional value ever. So you do have volatility kind of a bit more unpinned. You have some high time frame, I would say, I wouldn't call them rejections yet, but some worrying reactions off key levels on a lot of these mega tech stocks. When I was looking at the high time frame over the weekend, some index, I mean, you're trading into a very big level on indexes, right? Like the S&P weekly FVG or the NASDAQ. I'm not sure which one, a big monthly level on both of them. It wouldn't be surprising if we saw a reaction from here. And I'm curious about whether or not, risk markets could potentially be front running that move. But I want to get into that. Like I said, I want to get into the dollar and I want to get into everything else. Because of course, yeah, like I said, we have barely even talked about FOMC, which we have later this week as well. And that could be maybe the last rate hike for the year. So some big implications for the market this week, certainly. I'm going to pass it over to Max, get his thoughts on the market. What are you seeing on this crypto dump, Max? And how do you think this all kind of ties together with Forex markets and equities this week?
Oh, I can jump in. I can jump in if your mic's not working.
Oh
Oh
man.
yeah. Look. Hold on. Is it on my screen? Is it on my screen? Do anybody remember this? Anybody remember this conversation here? Because I remember us talking about this for many weeks here, right? And there were some people in the camp like, I don't know if that's in versus head and shoulders because it's sideways.
Testing,
And
testing. Okay. Damn it, guys. I'm sorry. That happened again, guys. Thanks for letting me know. My computer died last night and it must have reverted my settings.
good
This
now.
happened last time. Sorry, guys. All right, let me run this back real
Go ahead,
quick.
go ahead.
Oh, damn it. That's so damn annoying, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, all right. I hope everybody can hear me now. It looks like it's picking up. But yeah, anyways, all right, what did I start with here? Let's see. So, I
You were
mentioned the
going
Euro.
to
It was
outliers.
interesting to observe last night. In hindsight, I was asleep, of course. Tommy wasn't, but I was asleep. And I can't help but notice that the Euro front ran the Bitcoin dump by about maybe an hour, hour and a half. So keeping an eye on Euro USD as well, given that it is ever so slightly leading volatile moves. But I am still in the camp that Bitcoin can make that final push up, and we can see the Doctor Outlook special of 33 to 37K. Given that we're seeing something like the Dow Jones, huge index performing tremendously well and actually starting to break out finally. Maybe doing a little bit of catch up to SPY and NASDAQ, which have just been on a tear this year. So I think as long as equities continue to hold up and maybe we do get that double top across the board and all the equity indexes, I don't think that it's like over for Bitcoin or anything like that. But I did say this last week numerous times. I said, if you're a Bitcoin bull here and you think that we're going to mid 30s, prove it to me. That last move that we had up from 24.8 all the way to 31, there was some volume, but it was thin because of how quick the move happened. We didn't really take time to pause or build much support. So here we are. You have your chance to prove it. If you're really that bullish, let's see how you react when we dip sub 29K. I want to see how you react. If you're that bullish, prove it to me. And I said this last show to Will. I said, Will, I'm still in the camp, man. Like I think we could go mid 30s, but the amount of times we got stuffed pushing up against 31K tells me we didn't have enough fuel in the tank. So if we start seeing a bunch of open interest coming in and we start seeing funding going, dramatically negative across all the major exchanges and people are trying to rip shorts here sub 29K and they're getting very aggressive trying to force a move to 25 and we start turning around, there's a lot of squeeze that could potentially happen, which I think would give us that fuel up to potentially mid 30s if FOMC isn't a curveball, which I don't think it will be, and equities remain relatively strong and hold up here. So I'm enjoying this pullback. I'm not short, not anymore. I was a little bit this weekend. I'm not short anymore. I barely have any crypto exposure right now. I'm mostly stabled up, just earning some interest in a risk-free environment. But I would look to get long if we start to see specifically Bybit doing really dumb things at a local range low or potential high time frame support. So I'm bearish right now, short term. How could you not be? We're dumping pretty aggressively. But this doesn't rule out Will's scenario, by the way, at all. I still think he could be correct. He just might be a little bit off on his timing. Like I think we were thinking it would maybe happen this month or like early August. I could see this happening like, 2 months from now potentially. Like it could take a long time. But yeah, I mean, I'm cautious here. Like I think what scares me the most, and then I kind of want to have a discussion on this just briefly, is like we've seen some real degenerative activities on chain. I mean, we're seeing rat roulette. We're seeing hamster racing. We're seeing like, I don't even want to say it on YouTube because I don't want to get banned, but something about two men doing something and like you can bet on it. It's disgusting. Like the degenerative behavior is making this space kind of a joke. It's basically peer-to-peer illiquid gambling, It's it's not good, man. It's not good for the space. And I think that there is definitely like a cleansing that needs to happen after some of the crap that I've seen on chain recently. So um, I'll leave that right there for now. But yeah, some of the behavior I've seen, it doesn't exactly indicate like a healthy crypto market, or one that would really encourage many people to even enter it, because truthfully it's a bit repelling on the surface. So yeah, I don't know. If anybody wants to jump in, feel free, but those are some opening thoughts for me.
Yeah, I
Thank-
mean,
Thanks.
God.
No, I was just gonna say really briefly, just talking about the on-chain market. It has been a little difficult to, if you're just looking to the on-chain market to kind of derive froth, it's been a little difficult to kind of time market directionality off of that when you think about it, right? Like it's a $1 trillion asset class, and you have these assets that, I mean, effectively are only 8-figure market capitalizations, but they are so absurd that they make you question everything about, kind of what's going around you. Just a very interesting dynamic, I think, on the differences in froth, because in prior bull cycles, right? I mean, Will knows this. The funding on altcoins, I mean, we all know this. Like the funding on altcoins and Bitcoin all get extremely positive, and you can kind of get a good inclination of when you're going to see a washout. But this market's very different because exchange volumes are so low that funding is really not that relevant to the equation, except on some very granular details, I would say, on altcoins. But yeah, I mean, the froth is just not as relevant because there's less volume and less liquidity in the market right now. But what are your thoughts, Will?
Yeah, I mean, funding for sure. Like, I mean, the market. Look, on a face value, bears would argue that the market's been illiquid, right? On that same face value, I would argue, how are we here where we are, right? And it they don't correlate, right? And believe me, when it's time to be a bear, I'm all in. There's no better way to play the market than downside, and I'm telling you that from the perspective of leverage, because leverage goes up, ridiculously, right? When the market's directionality is down, you can make stupid money to the downside because the volatility of flush outs are much better than the volatility of face melters, right? And some people may be like, "Oh yeah, well no, face melters is work." No, 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 no. Trust me, downside is much more profitable. When you're talking leverage, right? When you're talking leverage, but directionality has been up, and I don't fight directionality. Just like I don't fight momentum. And if momentum is in the favor of markets aren't that liquid, buyers are stepping in, but sellers are not willing to sell, I'll play on the sellers are not willing to sell side, even though that doesn't seem like the right position to be taken in a market in an environment the way that, or an environment like it is right now. Sorry, a little bit of a shake up there. But yeah, I would say overall, like what I would like to see as far as markets go and stuff like that, and Bitcoin is I need to see that 28K hold. I just do. Like look, I could deal with a little bit of a wick below trend, but we start directionally breaking 28K, like I'm bearish from there, man. I'm gonna be real. Like, and I've been the one advocate on this show, like, no, it's going up before it goes down. Right. And I was wrong on that, obviously, because my support was broken and my trend was broken. So I'm not wrong yet completely until 28K gets violated. But if 28K starts getting violated and we start getting body closes on higher time frames below that range, I would arguably say we're going to 25, right? Before we go up. And that's just me being a realist versus a dreamer. I don't come in the markets to dream and hope. I come in the markets to play the momentum and the volatility, and I'll play whatever direction that is, whether that's up or whether that's down. So, as much as I would like things to go up because it makes things easier, it helps people out. It makes the trading much easier too, because you got a lot of froth and FOMO, and you've got better structure to the move, right? When you start moving the downside, you could be up here at 28K one day, and then you could be at 25 the next, right? And then you could be at 25 that day and then be back at 27K, right? Expecting it to reverse. And then that 27K now turns into 19K. And that's really how downside plays versus upside. Whereas upside, like we've structurally just been slowly stair stepping up, right? That's been the
So
market.
Will, what happens? You said 28K is like your level, give or take. If we lose, if we get like a daily close below 28, what do you do? Because I know you've got some long exposure. Are you flipping short? Are you just selling it and going cash? Like, what are you thinking you're gonna do?
So weekly, I'm looking for weekly. It's just been my best trade so far. So if we directionally close weekly body closes below 28K, I'm not necessarily cutting positions because I don't think my positions that I'm in personally are going to get destroyed because I'm not one of these people chasing high beta that's like up, 1,000% on the year. I'm chasing stuff that's still down on floors on the year. So sellers are pretty much out of those coins and as well as buyers, right? Both of them, neither one of them are active. So my downside is I would say fairly decent, right? Like I don't think that there will be any significant downside to the positions I'm in. Whereas like a lot of other people, they're probably chasing things like Matic, chasing things like Solana, chasing things like and arguably I would even say Ethereum. And we talked about that this morning, right? There could be a big capitulation event in Ethereum if this whole thing were to play out in the way I'm saying below 28K, and we start seeing downside, downside, downside. Because what will happen directionally is majority of shitcoin pools, they're made up of Ethereum, right? Not USDT, not different things. They're made up of Ethereum and BNB, which means if you start seeing people wanting to move to cash because they're fearful of more downside, they're going to sell those pools out. That's going to drop the price of Ethereum because Ethereum is going to also get sold in the stable. So you have to be really cautious with things that are, more on the side of having potential downside than things that are still on floors, and don't really, have much downside even if they do. Like arguably, I would even say Lucid, right? If we were to see a big capitulation event in the market as a whole, I would say Lucid doesn't have much downside. Whereas like if you were to see a big capitulation event on the market as a whole, I would say Palantir could get destroyed, right? As well as potentially even Rivian, right? Rivian could go right back to the lows again if the market gets destroyed. And that's what I think is the most important thing is people to identify what they're in and what the risk to downside is on what they're in, right? Am I in something that's overly pumped that has potential to really come back down and revisit those lows and put me back in a position to where I'm up 100%, but my portfolio goes right back to where I started? Or am I in a position to where, I could see a 10, 15, 20% drop on my portfolio, but, there's not much downside exposure there because the things I'm in haven't really seen significant FOMO, right?
Yeah.
Does all that make sense?
No, it does. Real quick, then, Tommy, I want you to go. Guys, thanks so much for being here. If you could just take one moment real quick and just like this video, it really helps our channel, really helps our analytics. We're sitting at 14 likes right now. We got 27 people watching live. My goal for today is 25 likes. It's usually 20, but it's a Monday. We're getting some activity in the markets. You guys are active in the chat. It would be huge if you guys could just take one moment and quickly hit that thumbs up for us. Thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it. Tommy, go for it.
Well, I just wanted to ask you kind of how you view, the picture that's shaping up in context with the fact that we have FOMC this week and the fact that I want to say it's probably going to be our last rate hike of the year. If that's correct assumption, right? Or am I way off on that?
I don't know if we're gonna get a rate hike. Like I've heard this thesis. I heard the Fed come out and pause, and I keep hearing people talk about rate hikes. Look, I don't see them pausing and then going back to hiking. I don't see it.
Gonna
Can it
hike.
happen?
They're gonna hike. They're gonna hike.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm saying like I wouldn't see the point in doing that. Right? It doesn't make any logical sense to stop and then go.
No, I think the skip is dumb too, but it's like 90% priced in right now, and he's not gonna deviate. He never does. He's a simple
Yeah.
man. Jerome Powell.
He's gonna wake up, he's gonna hike interest rates, and he's gonna walk off the podium.
Yeah. The other thing is too, I think the most interesting thing out of everything today is DJI, right? Expected inverse head and shoulders. It did not break down. It broke out. Like when you look at something like this, you can say a lot of the market is, close to topping, possibly topped, whatever, right? But like what's going on here? Money flow is moving in. And arguably, I would say if DJI just caught a bid off this inverse head and shoulders we've been discussing for multiple weeks here because it was easily identified, what's going on with Russell, right? I haven't looked at Russell specifically yet, but like I would say, that's another one that's been kind of not more or less suppressed and not really moving, right? So we could probably take a look at that too if you guys are interested in that. Look at this Carvana tag, Max. Look at this.
Dude, I can't believe we missed Carvana because we talked about it. We talked about it, and none of us took it, man. Not one of us played it. We did we spent like 15 minutes on the show talking about it a couple weeks ago. No one touched it, man. I can't believe it.
This is insane.
But I kind of view this in the same way that I view all these like on-chain shit coins that have been running recently. This is just the on-chain hamster race of the equity markets. This isn't healthy either. This is a company that's not going to exist in 2 years.
Well, here's what I think it is, Max. I'm going to give you a realistic outlook. All right. Price got above here. Traders were like, oh, shoot, it's going to go up. And traders traded this thing up, man. 100%. Like, look, you had a breakout move. Traders already saw it. They pulled back to the support, and then they took the trade up. That's exactly what happened. And then what are they doing? They're seeing resistance here, and they're playing the resistance to a T. Literally to a T. This is a trader market. It's not an investor. People are not investing. They're not investing in this. They are trading this. That's what's going on right now. You got calls that are pushing prices up to the upside. And calls are not, they're not investments. That's what people, they don't understand the difference. A call is a bid. It's people expecting price to go directionally one direction. What that causes is a buy, right? So a lot of people buy into those positions, and a lot of call positions that people take. Just so people know the difference between a call and a put. Like your calls basically are saying, hey, I'm expecting price to go this way directionality, and if I expire on this date and I reach my price, the guys that are put into the puts have to buy at that price, right? And then the same thing with puts. The puts, if price goes down, guess what? You have to sell your call positions to those puts at much cheaper prices, and those puts get your positions at much cheaper prices. That's how calls and puts are being exchanged, and that is not an investing market. And a lot of people can't tell the difference between an investing market and a traded market, right? Right now we're in a traded market. That's what we're in. There's a big difference between the two. Big difference. Investing is healthy. Trading market is froth and FOMO. And that's we're in a trading market right now, which is profitable.
Bitcoin looks like it's about to rug. It looks
like it does, dude. And I'm watching funding getting
on the lower time frame here, and I want to, or Tucker, I should say, and Tucker, I want to get your thoughts on the market as well, especially FOMC and the dollar, because I feel like that's a really important backdrop for this week, as we're already seeing.
No, it is for sure. And yeah, I'm looking at the dollar and I'm looking at the euro as well. The euro is nuking. The dollar is getting a little pump here. What are we sitting at? 101. If I go on yeah, I mean, it could be kind of potentially a high time frame, like a monthly SFP of that $100 level, honestly. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter.
Tucker, do you want to share your screen? We can move over to you if you got something up.
Yeah, sure. There you go. You guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on the monthly, right? Like we could, if this closes like that, it makes me a little more bullish on the dollar, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I think this week FOMC Powell's going to raise rates by 25 basis points. It's not like some shocking thing. It's priced in. Everybody knows like it's not going to change anything. I think a pause or 50 basis points would shake everybody up and down, but I don't think either of those things are going to happen. So yeah, but I mean obviously raising interest rates strengthens the dollar. So looking at this chart right now, like I think that gives credence to potentially more ranging instead of a
Hey,
imminent
real,
breakdown.
real quick into what you got there. Can you throw that on the weekly real quick? Oh yeah. Okay. That's what I wanted to see. Yeah, if they hold above that support there, it's not
Yeah,
gonna be good. Draw a line off across those tops though. I want to see where that resistance
like
is.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that looks good. That looks good for a potential rejection area. That's where I'd
Yeah,
be looking for
you
rejection.
could definitely like could
We are
definitely
we are
mean-
bouncing out of a monthly FVG though, right?
yeah.
Makes sense to bounce out of the monthly FVG and then trade into the top the upper one right above it, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, that looks like a mega bear trap as of right now.
Yeah, look
It
at that.
does. It does. Yeah.
I want to just point out one thing with Bitcoin. I know we're talking about Dixie, but I'm watching open interest climb and fundings becoming more expensive, and that's not good for bulls. That's
I mean, Bybit keeps longing, Max. It's not a great sign, in my opinion, for a reversal.
yeah, it's looking like they're trying to knife catch this, and if they puke, there's a lot of puking that could happen right here. So
Ooh. Ooh. See, this is what I've been waiting for. Give me 28 to
I mean, dude, I'm watching it in real. Like I'm watching them just. I mean, they're getting. People are getting paid to short this right here. You know, like that's just not. That's
All
not
I'm
good.
saying is, man, is like they need to stay above 28K.
what
Man.
I'm saying.
They get below 28K.
Matic is
Bad.
If they want to
Yeah.
swing fail this low, maybe they can run it back up, but
Dude, I think at this point it's
grim.
I'm not gonna lie though. Like I'm fading Monday all day. I'm gonna watch for tomorrow. I don't care what happens today.
I'll
I'll play Monday's range.
I hope they just rug it today down to like 28.
Yeah, bounce right off 28K, go into Tuesday open, and then just boom, rip
Yeah,
it.
this would
Like,
be
that would be
fine.
nice.
That would be
Yeah, that's fine. I'd play Monday's range. Like if we established a huge Monday's range and then we had like a deviation Tuesday midday and reclaim, then it leaves you a lot of potential for a squeeze back up to like 29.5 or something like that. So it's just right now, man, this is setting up for like this is not looking good, man. Like what I'm seeing across the board, man.
You know people are getting wrecked, Max, when you try to close your shorts out and the slippage is 3 or 4 times what it was last night because the loss was getting murdered in the books.
They try to get out.
Yeah.
They're all panicking. No, I like it though, because like if your slippage is that high, here's the thing. A lot of these people are probably panic selling here, which means that they're panic selling here, you're probably near a support, much closer to support than you think.
The way
People are bidding altcoins right now. Like I'm looking at a lot of altcoins, and this wick for altcoins, like it is
Ooh, it is rugged hard right now.
it is a higher low on altcoins. People are just bidding beta right here.
Dude, people are getting paid to short down here.
Look
I
at
Can you
think
this.
believe
Alts kind of front ran the move last night that Bitcoin's having right now, at least as far as like percent moves, right? Like, I mean, some of these alts wicked way lower.
This is the problem. We're not done yet.
Yeah, that's not
Bitcoin dominance should not be bleeding during a dump. So
Yeah, I mean, but again, you're close to a support there though, too, Tucker. Like you're not
I know.
breaking any major support.
yeah, for sure.
So it's arguably questionable whether this bleed is closer to a low than it is to a high.
I think it depends, right? Because we have the break from monthly value. If this is one, like I said on the Giga Chat call this morning, this is one of those occasions where I think like if you get a perfect retest of support to re-short, it's probably just going to rip way higher on you than you think. This should not give you a retest. This should just dump from here, in my opinion, if it's bearish. Given that we've broken down from value expansion, from compression. And I want to say, I also saw on Twitter, guys, that this was the tightest that the Bollinger Bands have been on Bitcoin's weekly time frame ever.
Oh.
So, volatility seemingly imminent.
Yeah.
And one more thing that also is imminent is that we do need to hit 25 likes on this video, and we are at 21 right now. So guys, we've got 32 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you could please do me the solid of just taking one moment, quickly hitting that thumbs up button for us. And I guess also, if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We run this show every single day at the same time. So yeah, if you're new, welcome, and just please take one moment, hit that thumbs up button for us. It really helps the channel. Thank you. I guess now there's 35 people in here, guys. Thanks so much for being here today. Definitely a fun day in the markets.
Oh, it's Pepe, bro.
Let me ask you your guys' thought. What's your guys' thoughts on DJI? And that move we're seeing here.
Dude, Will, you called that like over a month ago. It just took so long to like actually play out. I got bored watching it, but you really did call it, man.
Yeah. Bro, those inverse head and shoulders, they play, man. They play. It's crazy. And look at the breakout was so significant on that move too.
Yeah. That's your target up there.
Yeah, I remember me and Tucker talked about it. We're like, look, if it gets above here, all-time high. Easy.
Yeah, I don't know how I need to measure it. Maybe not all time.
When you measured it last time, it was definitely all-time high.
I don't know how I measured it last time. Maybe it was more like
I think it was the head, right? Or was it one of the shoulders that you
maybe it was more like that.
ran on?
Yeah, it's just how you draw the neckline. It's however you want to draw the neckline. Maybe.
Yeah. And arguably, like, this is the thing, like, that shows there's still money in the market and money is going to continue to flow. Like, that's what I would say. Like, if you have that much more upside for DJI, would you say the market's really top tier?
Double top.
You gotta put your meme up, Tucker. Right? You gotta put your meme up there, man. If you're gonna say double top.
I don't. Here he goes. Here he goes. He's gonna do the one with me on it. Is that what's gonna happen here? Double bottom.
You're gonna do the one with me on it? Yeah. What is that? Another 15 points? That's not anything crazy, I think.
Tucker, we've talked about how the S&P 500 likes to do this like sweep of the high, then sweep of the low, high time frame pattern during turbulent times in equity markets. Yeah, there it is. Babe, please stop shorting. It's not going down. Please stop. This is our rent money. Double top.
Double top.
I love how like innocent the bear looks, man. His eyes are just like they're just beaming. Double top. What I was saying is, if you take a look at the S&P 500, you don't have to move over there, but if you look at the S&P 500 during turbulent times, we've talked about how it likes to do this like predatory sweep of the high or deviation, and then we actually come back down and deviate the low. What has the Dow done during previous like recessions or like mini bear markets or downturns? Does it do that same pattern?
Yeah. So that one it did, but like look at 08 from 2000.
That's what I'm most curious about. Yeah. It kind of did there though too. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the lows. Yeah.
So it might just be doing a little bit of catch up to SPY and NASDAQ right now.
But look at the upside.
Yeah, it was a much higher.
It had way more upside than
20% higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
20% higher.
Whereas SPY barely violated the highs, like DJI went really high before that happened.
440.
Wow.
Be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then how much lower was the low?
It was less, I think. I'm pretty sure it was less.
Percent lower. So we can expect 444 and then 250.
So
256.
basically get chopped in half.
Yeah. So that
Like a
would
40% downside or something like that.
be 4 256. Wow. Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that.
Now, just so people know in the audience, like we're going through, we're looking at historical data and kind of what these stocks have done in these environments and expectations for the next move. So,
Can you imagine if it does that?
bro, it'll be like the biggest. Like so many people are going to be selling the bottom of
Well,
that.
Tucker, throw on Ben Cowan's global net liquidity on the same pane as this, and you'll see the jaws there, man. It's done it before. Yeah,
Jaws are-
move it up to the same pane though.
Oh, yeah. Mm,
You might have to like adjust it a little bit, but you can see when we get these divergences between, equity index valuations and global net liquidity, as it's been coined, the jaws open, but typically we get some, I don't know, mean reversion. I wouldn't even really call it that, but
okay.
you can close your tickers, by the way, Tucker, if you need to. Yeah. It's not going to mess with the camera today. Not today.
Here. Yeah. That's the jaws right there.
But go back to like 2018. Did it do anything there?
Oh, 2018.
Or like that whole period, yeah, like 2018 through the COVID crash, where equity prices were moving up. What was global net liquidity doing? It's like we kept doing.
This went up and this kind of went like bear chopped sideways and down.
Yeah.
And COVID rugged it. But this is
Yeah, that's it.
This is it. That's the jaws, and then we get the nuke right there. And that's what it is. It's more it stands out more on SPY, but yeah.
It's still pretty crazy how similar that looks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, likes to do these big moves. Like Will had it drawn out. Will, do you still have all those drawings on SPY where we make a new high and then we go on to make a new low? Can you pull that up? Because we went over that, and I mean, look, it doesn't have to happen, but certainly something to consider.
Give me just a second. I don't know why this thing. Oh, it's because I'm sitting here watching Tucker.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
All right. Almost shared our Discord.
Tommy, are you getting paid to short here at the lows?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, Max. I took some profit
All right, let me know when you got it.
at SFP, but I'm not confident it's actually going to SFP.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had SPY up. Maybe I don't. Hold on.
No, if you don't, it's all good. I thought it was a good. You conveniently had it.
I have it. I'm just saying, like, I thought I had it on my.
What the problem is you've got 500 things on your watch list, Will.
I got to make sure the market doesn't move without me.
Will doesn't miss anything. Will watches every single ticker in the entire market, crypto and equities. There it is. Yeah, that's what it is right there.
Like,
yeah, go all the way back, man. Take us on a tour, man. Zoom in and go all the way back to.
Here's 1965 all the way to 1974 with lower lows. Here's
and higher highs. And higher highs.
And higher highs. You got the broadening, right? Here's 2000 to 2008 with equal highs and lower lows. And here's basically our 2014, 15.
You might need to zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little small. There you go.
and then 16 areas where we basically triple bottom the lows, but you're kind of coming into the same value multiple times here at the lows. Then you've got the COVID low, which some people are like, oh, it's a black swan. Well, guess what? It didn't only hit it here; it hit it here too. Like we could say black swans, we could say this or that, but liquidity always follows liquidity, right? And so what the price did is the price ran up, and again, this is arguably another broadening, right? The same as what we saw back here in the 60s, 70s. You had another broadening, and then you had the rip in the markets, and really we visited these lows here. And some people like, oh, no, well, wait, here and here. No, this is not how this works. This typically what it does is it runs down, runs up. It can broaden again, right? And then it runs down again deeper.
Dude, imagine if we go to 5,000 and then 3,000. Can you imagine something like that?
Well, bears will say they were right and feel vindicated, even though they were wrong, because they didn't anticipate the upside move.
Well,
And then
dude,
bulls,
technically everyone was wrong in that, man. I see people calling melt up or melt down. I haven't seen many
Well-
people calling for this.
here's the thing. Look, a melt up could happen, but it's only going to be like 5,500 in my opinion. Like that's your top end range if a melt up happens. Like you're not going to go higher than that. You're either going to double top or you're going to go 5,500 roughly, and then you're gonna drop. This is going to be a broadening or it's going to be a double top. That's what it's going to be.
There's going to be some unbelievable opportunities to scoop up some value, like cheap valued companies, like really pristine companies that are trading at like sub 10 PE multiples forward looking. That will be that you'll look back on them as generational buys if we get a scenario like that, man. I mean, I'm talking blue chip mega cap tech at like sub 12 PE, man. Forget about it, distressed.
Well, that's where PE will come into play, while everybody else was arguing that PE never mattered. Right.
Oh man, PE, Matt, like if you go back and you study previous downturns in equities, you can see where the average like bottom is for a cumulative PE for the S&P 500. We never even got close to that. Like I think the lowest we got on the 2022 bear market or downturn, whatever you want to call it, was like 18 maybe, something like that. Like on the wick. In previous ones, it's always been like sub 13, for the index. So
one of the issues is like what the Fed arguably has done here is they do this every time, and this is why this happens with SPY and Q and everything else, is they come in and they support markets on one side, and then the other side they can't support markets because it's just screwed, right? And that was your 08, 09s and so on and so forth. And your 70s, same thing from your 60s to your 70s. Like they came in to save the market here, and the market gets wrecked over here because they came in to save the market over here. They can't intervene because they don't let natural selection happen. Natural selection happens later, regardless of whether they want it to or not. Like there's only so much floating you can do in a market. I think the people that sit out there and say, well, they can just print infinitely, they don't understand money at all. But there's a degree to where they can't support you anymore, right? Like if they could print money infinitely, the 08, 09 crisis would have never happened. It would have never happened, right? But it did. It happened because they couldn't do anything about it. It already occurred, and the situation was already in the spiral. No matter how much money they tried to float the market was going to continue to eat through that and push to the downside. And that's basically what happened. That's what a lot of people, they don't get. Like it doesn't, unless the Fed's going to come out and print the same exact amount of liquidity that we have flowing through the markets. When these downside events occur, they're going to eat right through it. Doesn't matter how much floating the Fed comes in and does at a certain point.
I think the only way we truthfully get like that double bottom is if we've way over tightened and the Fed has to slam on the brakes and we enter some sort of like prolonged period of deflation, which of course is terrible for risk. So if they over tightened and inflation goes negative, I think it's going to be nasty, man. It's going to be really nasty.
Arguably, I'd say in this environment, we'd be in a secondary inflationary environment, just much
Or
worse.
that, or that. That's a good point too.
Right?
Or we get a resurgence of inflation and they have to bring terminal to like 10% or something like that.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
even
yeah.
more crippling, probably.
That's actually what occurs through both of these events, right? So you had the inflation over here, pull back, then you had the inflation over here because markets recovered too fast. They just did, right? You had the recovery here, boom, boom, boom. 3 years, you're right back to something that would take you normally 5 to 10. And that's exactly arguably what we're doing here, right? We're recovering way too fast on the move. And traders are what is pushing these markets. It's not true flow liquidity of investing, right? I would argue that that traders have been the majority of the liquidity, and they've just TWAPing the market up and up and up and up and up. And eventually when traders are like, hey, I don't think this looks very good to trade anymore. It's just taking too much liquidity to trade this. What do we do then? Are investors going to step in and buy their bags? Doubtful, right? And then you're going to start to see the trade to the downside, and traders are going to push that price right back down.
I'd love to get some thoughts from Tommy on what he's seen in crypto, man. Tommy's our in-house quant guy, so if anybody's gonna help you make some money trading crypto and crypto shit coins on perps, he's your man. Tommy, what are you seeing out there? Because what I'm seeing, I don't think it looks good at all, man. A
No,
little scary.
it looks really rough, Max. No, I was kind of saying it on the call this morning as well, right? Like we had the breakdown from month-long value. This is kind of like the last chance, in my opinion, for bulls to kind of stick their neck out and bid this thing, or else we're likely going to trade down to 27, 28K. From a volume standpoint, a lot of it makes sense for that to be the case. But I like you were saying on the call earlier, Max, open interest has not ceased going up since we set the low. A lot of people aping into longs, a lot of people aping into shorts, but I think really more so longs than anything. People have just this amazing tendency on whenever we break from value in a very explosive way. I love that people's first thought is like, hey, I'm gonna fade that. My
Mm-hmm.
my gut feeling, if this is truly bearish, you should probably just see continuation without any retest higher later this week. But it is Monday, right? That was kind of something that we were talking about, I know, earlier on the show, setting Monday's range. Maybe this is bait for potentially a move higher on FOMC. I don't know. But right now, you can see it manifesting itself in a lot of red. And like Tucker was pointing out too, I mean, alts have barely even dumped relative to Bitcoin. So I'm kind of wondering, are they just going to be bleeding all week, or is it going to be one of those things where we haven't seen the worst part of the dump yet for either of those assets? And if, that is the case, you're probably going to see alts, obviously nuke a lot further, because overnight they wicked way deeper than Bitcoin did. I was trading Link, for example, it wicked all the way down to 7.4. And then within, I would say probably 10 or 15 minutes, it was back up to 7.6. So we had some fairly deep wicks last night. I'm interested to see kind of how the market processes that. But on a more like granular time frame, it seems like we put some longs in at like 29.2, 29.15 on Bitcoin. So if we can't get back above that, then I would say the puking's probably going to continue. And if you can get back above it, maybe you can get back up towards 30K this week. But contextually speaking, I don't really know why you would, right? Given that we have broken down from value. I guess that's technically value area low, so we could get a retest of that. But I think we might retest it after seeing lower first. We'll just have to see what the market gives.
Tucker, can you share your screen again and just pull up your range? I want to kind of discuss like that break of value to the downside that Tommy's talking about, because it was so pronounced and we spent a lot of time looking at it last week.
Yeah, where's that up there? There's the top.
And then I just have one more to discuss before we close out.
Yeah, I mean, here's your little mini range. Here's the two big ranges. I mean, if you take away like this and even this, like that's what you're looking at. Just couldn't get above here. You come back down to here. Like not too crazy. 30K plus range, basically. I mean, that's clear break from value.
I just really don't like that funding is still so positive across the board, except for Bybit.
This thing sucks back up, though. I mean, that's very
Dude, why
bullish.
would it though from here? I could see
No,
it doing
I don't.
something like that like
I agree,
tomorrow.
Tucker, if that happened.
Why
Well,
would it
if it
swing
happened,
fail
of course.
today? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I probably expect it to just kind of like maybe, or we just
I'd like to see to get short potentially or like add some shorts would be maybe a little squeeze. We see some like shorts get liquidated on it just because they were too aggressive at the low. And then, yeah,
We're
man, I mean,
gonna
I
see
think
a retest
28-2,
next.
28-1, 28-2 probably comes. And by the way, I still think that that's good. I think that's a healthy retest. I think we need to come back to that little cluster right there and actually hold it as support. I kept saying this, like, bulls need to prove it here. You know, you want 35, you want 37. Okay, let's see how you fare on a really predatory drop. You know, let's send it down 2,000, 3,000 points, and let's see how you react. You know, let's see.
That's your 0.5 too. Also, how you were
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also just the mid range of this range. So yeah, 28, 28.3, 28.2, 28.3 definitely makes sense. Yeah. Also, the Twitter desktop app has rebranded to X, by the way.
So goofy, man. That's so goofy.
Yeah, I see the X right now. So
Yep. Yeah, I saw it too.
You must be friends with Elon,
Kinda
man. I was the
sick,
first to
man.
get it, so
I think it's kind of sick, honestly.
You must be friends with Elon.
Yeah,
yeah.
we put them on our last space. Don't you remember that?
Guys, guess how many likes they got us to today?
30.
Nah.
And
33.
Oh,
oh man.
These guys are insane.
We got to get to 44
Ooh.
or we 4.
Yeah, 4.
Before.
Guys, thanks so much for 33 likes. I asked politely for 25, and you guys, you ran the range high again, as you always do. So thanks so much. Be great if you could get us to 2K subscribers. I know that's asking a lot, but I think we're like 15 away, give or take. So I don't know. Maybe somebody out there tunes in regularly and just hasn't hit that subscribe button yet, you know? But maybe it's time to take that next step between Because Bitcoin and you as a community member. Maybe you want to hit that subscribe button and see how it feels. But either way, thank you guys for the likes.
We traded into a
What is this ticker? What are you looking at here, Tuck? What is this?
looks bullish, doesn't it?
What do you? I don't even know.
Looks bullish, she said.
yes,
Is that a
it does.
Ponzi? What is that?
It does
A
look like
Ponzi?
it's consolidating its support, Tucker. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Does indeed.
Nah, dude, that looks like too much time spent at support.
All right, you guys want to see the strongest stock in the market?
No,
Man, I think
I don't want to see Elf. I already know what he's got pulled up, man. I don't want to see it.
You already knew what it was.
Every single time, he can't help it. Dr. Outlook.
I don't
Where
know
do
what
we-
is going on. I'm so
There's
confused. with this
there's
stock.
that saying, right? It's like an old CT copy pasta. I don't remember it well enough to recite it, unlike some others, but it was basically saying like you should always be, the biggest shiller of your own bags. Otherwise, you shouldn't be holding them. And it had like this whole dramatic speech behind it, and I always take that to heart, man.
Shill me then, Tommy. Shill me. What do you
when I
got
have
for us?
bags, man, I'm gonna shill you my bags, because if I am willing to hold them, like I should be willing to shill them to you.
Yeah. I mean, CZ backs Elf. That's all I'm saying.
Does he?
It looks just like BNB, so you might
Oh,
as
he
well.
I was thinking that he actually did.
Oh, no. I mean, unless he likes makeup, maybe I'm wrong.
Come on.
Lucid.
Come on, man.
Oh, where? Let me find that meme.
What
Hold
are we
on.
doing here?
Tommy, do you think we backfill that drop on Bitcoin, from 29.6? Because there's like no volume there, man. Like there's just a huge volume gap. Like it happened so quick. Do you think we fill that before lower or what?
I'm kind of torn on it because it's one of those things where a gap down candle can act as like a breakaway and you shouldn't fill it if it's bearish. And then there is the flip side, like you said, it's not a very efficient move, so it could definitely get backfilled. I think whether it gets filled or not probably tells you everything about the type of market that you're trading this week, if I had to guess. But I don't think it's going to go all the way back up to 30K. I honestly, I think if you get above 29.5, 29.6, then you're going to squeeze a lot higher than 30K.
So if we get back above there, you're thinking like range, reclaim, and then yeah, okay.
Because I think about like the delta that we've put in at 29.5, 29.6, even 29.7, right? Like if you can get kind of somewhat back into that vicinity, maybe, you can start talking about some higher targets, especially with, where shorts have come in. I think you could start talking about higher targets, but I don't know. I mean, it has to start breaking market structure, right? It hasn't done that so far since that big nuke. It's just essentially bled. So I have personally, I've made the mistake of rushing into reversal longs here in the past, and momentum was just very strong, and I've gotten run over doing that. So I'm probably just going to sit out, to be honest, and wait for, if it is going to break down, maybe short some things again. But it's kind of tough to keep shorting down here at this point.
It is. The only thing that's thrown me off big time is the funding, man. It's not making sense to me. I would expect funding to be dropping slowly here if this is going to get absorbed, and it's climbing.
Yeah, Bybit's longing down here, which is not great, I would say, if you're bullish.
But the question is, where do they get blown out at, dude? Because they could be 100x leverage and get blown out on another sweep of the lows,
I really don't know. It could be 27.8. There was a huge amount of OI that came in at 27.8. So if we tag that level, I know a ton of people are getting wrecked.
27.8.
Yeah.
Be a nice little deviation of this.
Yeah, let me see here.
Another thing I don't like about this profile that we've put in since the dump is our point of control is right near the top of our value area for the local range. So it seems a little bit distributive to me.
This?
Yeah, the point of control is at the top of the range. Yeah. That's typically something, if you were to inverse that, that's what you would want to see out of like a trending move to the upside.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if it's bearish, we should just keep rolling over here, honestly.
I think so.
Yeah, I might have to, man, with this funding. I just know that Bybit's going to puke 500 points lower than here. So it's like I could even just de-risk down there for a small scalp.
Yeah.
In the staff text chat, if you want to pull that up real quick. There, Tucker on your screen. I dropped a little something.
You talking about Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucid.
You and that damn stock, Will, you crack me up.
Which one, Elf?
No, Lucid.
Oh, Lucid.
Lucid and Elf, man, both of them.
Look at that one. Oh, man.
Tucker, our resident chief of memes.
Yes. Do something.
Come on, do something.
It doesn't look bad.
Yeah, this looks like it's gonna roll over.
Yeah, we've thought that like 20 times now, though. And it's had so many breakout fails, it's actually annoying.
Not
But
lose. I mean Bitcoin, but
no, I
I
mean I'm
think
talking about losing.
I think
It's the
Bitcoin's going down
one.
here. Yeah.
Bitcoin.
They're just still longing this, dude. Like they're just still
Oh, look
aggressively
at that
longing
wick.
this.
What?
how many
What's
likes
going
were
on
we able
there?
to get to, Max?
We are at 36 likes. My goodness, you guys. I didn't ask for that. I didn't want that many, guys. That's too many.
My
Ask for
goodness.
25.
Send it so much lower.
It's unbelievable. Thank you guys for the overwhelming support. Truly, it's heartwarming. Thank you guys for showing up.
What do you think? You guys about ready to wrap it up here?
I
Yeah.
don't want to just watch the carnage.
I'll watch the carnage.
Yeah, we'll just pull up the liquidation engine or whatever, the aggregator, and we'll just turn the volume on and just watch people get liquidated. All right, well, we've been going for an hour, so we got to call it here. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Thank you guys for the overwhelming support. 37 likes, looks like the final tally. If you guys enjoyed the stream, yeah, please consider liking if you have not yet. Also, we'd love if you guys subscribe to the channel. Additionally, if you guys want to check out the links in the description below, we offer some additional premium commentary and analysis. We have a kick-ass Discord where we share all of our positions in real time, everybody here, as well as some team members that are not here. It's a really great place to hang out, so I would definitely encourage you guys to try it. We also have some free trials going on with it too, so no commitment necessary. Just give it a try, see how it feels. But yeah, Tommy, I'm going to pass you the mic, man. Close us out.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Like Max said, for tuning in, giving us a little piece of your Monday morning. Hopefully you were able to take away something actionable for your trading week. I know there's a lot going on, so it's a good week, in my opinion, to have some good organization of your ideas, right? And where you kind of think price is going to move. But yeah, so far some fireworks on, within Bitcoin and crypto. Would love to see that kind of continue throughout the rest of the day and into FOMC. It's been a really long time since we've had some decent volatility in that market. So would very much look forward to that. We will be back tomorrow, of course, for another episode of Market Check with the same usual cast of characters. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And like I said, we will be back tomorrow. Thanks again.